Hi guys, so let's find out what kind of bob shape fits your face. So I'm gonna mention face shapes today because people are used to that, but I also will present more information on that subject because I think that there's some much more important things that your face shape. If you and your friend, for example, have same face shape, it doesn't mean that same kind of bob will suit you, because only to that degree it depends on your face shape, and to that degree it depends on your body type, on your facial structure, and overall proportions in your whole body, and even your lifestyle and your vibe. I think that idea that you have to correct your face shape so it would be oval, I think this idea by itself is super crazy. As if somebody would wake up in the morning and say that the sun is not trendy enough. So we all have to shut the doors and shut the windows and then come out to see the moon because moon is in the trend now. Correcting your face shape to become oval, correcting your height to become more moderate in size, and so on and so on. So I think the basic of this idea is psycho. I'm gonna present you information in a slightly different way, but I'm still gonna talk about face shapes because people are kind of used to that subject. It's familiar to them. So definition of bob. To bob is a verb, basically cutting off short. Now, first of all, bob haircut is just an element of beauty. Let's say a woman cuts a bob, but she has very bad quality of hair, she doesn't take care of her skin, she doesn't do her makeup correctly, she dresses not for her vibe, but she feels uncomfortable in clothes she wears, so that bob probably won't change a lot in her appearance because bob is just one little element in the role of so many elements of somebody's look. But in some cases, bob can really make wonders, and I know people who for their whole life they were scared to cut off even 1 inch of their long hair. But as far as they went to bob, their life completely changed. Their facial features are totally changed. I think bob itself is a universal haircut. I think that it fits everyone. The difference here is the color, the bangs. I'm not gonna talk about the bangs, you can check this video, I'm gonna leave the link down below, and the right shape of the bob. Now those three things matter the most, and that can change a lot. What kind of bobs exist? For example, there can be straight bob. It can start very high, it can be lower, any length you want, chin length. Then we have lower straight bob, probably up to here, because then we have lob, long bob. So that straight bob they also call blunt bob, meaning straight cut without layers, without lightening the ends, without any difference in length. And then we have A-line bob, meaning the letter A, meaning the front pieces are slightly longer here and they create kind of those triangles here, right, by the face, and then it goes up a little bit. On the back it's slightly shorter. Now there can be layered bobs. Sometimes they are layering only on the back, so it would be like more volume at the back and then more sleek at the front. Sometimes they layer the whole bob. Sometimes they do layers by the face as well, as if it's like longer fringe and then it goes thinner to the ends, which was more popular I think in the 90s, not as popular now. Now blunt bob is still the most trendy thing. Then it can be asymmetrical bob, meaning at the back it's shorter, it goes longer here, but one piece is always longer than another, approximately 1 inch longer. So for that kind of bob, you make side parting on the opposite side of this more elongated hair. That creates an illusion that you made that side parting and you kind of put a lot of hair here. It's heavier, it's longer, it looks really effective with curls as well. Those curls can be very big and kind of fall down on one part of your eye. It looks very sophisticated. Some people, they do a lot of layering, especially here by the face. When they do that elongated piece, kind of tend to curl inwards like that because of the gravitation, so hair tends to go around our jawline and then kind of curl to the neck. For some women, I think that looks beautiful, but the thicker the ends are, the more healthy and the bigger the hair looks. Of course, it depends also on the texture of your hair. If you have afro hair, for example, or if you have very curly hair or wavy hair, or you have straight but thick hair, or you have straight but thin hair. We also rely on that information, what kind of hair you have. And of course, we rely on the body types. If you're new, I have the whole series of the body types, so you can check from the body types test and so on. I'm gonna leave the link down below. We have 13 body types. Each body type has her own bone structure, also face structure and facial bone structure, because two different body types with rectangular face shape will wear same bob differently, completely differently. This is why I think it's very important to know about bob. I have this video, hair for the body types. You can also check that. There we talk about those 13 types and what kind of hair they look best in, like what kind of shape of their hair. I will now tell you what different types of bob make to your face. I will mean both curly hair and straight hair. Where the bob ends, this is where it will increase the width, the visual width. If it stops here, then the width of your cheekbones. Your cheekbones will be wider. Now let's talk about the face shapes. So if you have a long face, long or slim face, it doesn't matter how angular it is or how soft it is, how soft cheeks you have. If it's still elongated, then the only thing you don't want to do is increase the volume on top, back comb your hair and make it very sleek by your face. That's the only thing. If you do that, you will just make your face even longer and even thinner, much more long than it basically is. But I know if you have curly hair, you probably have some volume on top. That's not a problem. As soon as you don't make it sleek here. But I don't think you will keep that hair curly and here you will make it straight. When we talk about curly or wavy hair, that's great. They already have that volume that we need. Any length, like from here, even from the temple area, then here, would be good. The other thing, that is different vibe. If we talk about that length, because I do believe that every hairstyle also has a lot to do with your vibe, with your personal preference, with the way how you feel, and with the way how you tend to dress. If we only talk about shapes, you can make your length here, up to here. You can do chin length. That's gonna widen it here on the sides. That's what you want. You can make it longer. And don't worry, it won't elongate your face too much. It will be amazing. Even if you go for elongated bob, even if you go for asymmetrical bob. Again, it depends on your style, on your overall style, on your body type. If you have diamond face shape, thinner at the chin, wider here, and the cheekbones are really prominent on the sides. So basically, anything from here under your cheekbone would be great. They will fall down on your cheekbone, but I do think that when you make it behind your ears, it will also look amazing. What can exaggerate them? Maybe if you cut it right here. The rest will depend again on your body type, on your vibe, on your personal preference, and so on. Any length, actually you will look amazing with that length. Here you have very thin chin. You can open this whole area. One thing here is if you have a very long chin and it's much longer proportionately to that part and to middle part. Let's say here you just have it longer, the mouth area is longer. In this case, chin length, maybe even 1 centimeter below and longer. And of course, middle neck as well. It fits everyone. The only thing that will accentuate that is when you cut it somewhere here at that area, because the eye will be dragged down in there. But if you cut it slightly longer, then it will kind of equalize it. It will mix it up a little bit with the ends of your hair, with the end of your chin, and what kind of will mix all together. And of course, elongated, asymmetrical, again, it will be great. Triangle face. Normally very slim. This part is not prominent at all, and they have very thin bottom part here and wider forehead area. On this face, any short hair will look okay, because they have such a thin part here. Very thin silhouette, very delicate bones. Small bones, very narrow bones. So in this case, any length from here, by the chin, or straight and longer, or again, asymmetrical, elongated. Round faces, they normally have same width as height. Also, their chin is pretty soft. It's not pointed, because if we have pointed chin, it's gonna be hard face shape. So in this case, once they have a little bit volume on top, they are good with basically any length, except for maybe here. In the middle of the face is just will make that illusion that the bottom part here of the face kind of falls out. It will be less proportionate. But again, we're only talking now about the hair that is lying by your face, that you dress by your face, because if you pull them out from your face, it doesn't matter as much. That round face will look amazing with pulled back hair. That's what I'm trying to say. Round face is very beautiful by itself. If only we are not creating an opposite illusion. If we hide that part of the face with hair, then we open the second part of the face, so that bottom half cheek and the chin will look bigger than they actually are. The only thing here would be that from the distance, especially if they don't have the volume on top, if they have a flat top, and actually many women with round face, they have a very flat head, especially if it's a blunt cut, it will create that very wide line here and wide line here, and basically it will widen the whole head. So in this case, they should not make volume on the sides, maybe just keep it flat. But I think the best thing for them would be slightly elongated, because when it's elongated, it's gonna have that triangle which will be thinned down. And those diagonal lines, they play the role of a facelifter for anyone. This is why it's the most flattering shape. From the front, when you see that haircut, it has those diagonal lines that are drawing that hair on you, that drawing, the outlining, that silhouette on your face. Also, some asymmetry can also be amazing on round faces. If we talk about heart-shaped face, it's approximately same as with round face, but normally here again, that will kind of accentuate that whole cheek area. It will look bigger than it actually is. If she grows it lower up until it's somewhere at the chin level, maybe 1 centimeter even above the chin, that will look great. Can do chin length as well, and again it will depend on your body type more than this. Or again, that is the most universal, 1 or 2 inches to the bottom, more elongated at the front. Rectangular, it's pretty long and it has some sharpness here, some sharp jawline. So basically, it's very similar to long face, oblong face. Same situation. If you're not making that huge volume on top and that very sleek here on the sides here good, nothing will happen. There's the only one thing. If you do it here, it will give you width at the jaw and it will accentuate your jaw a little bit more. So your jaw might look wider than it is if you cut it here. Hair will create that outline. If you grow it slightly longer, just a little bit longer, even if it's blunt, but 1 centimeter longer than your chin, it's gonna look amazing. And I do think that you should show your jawline, because square jawline is amazingly beautiful. If we talk about similar situation, but not elongated, but just square face, they have width here as well at the cheeks, and they also have that squarishness here on the jaw. Same situation as with that one, except for they can have some volume on top. If they do have that volume on top, then it will kind of delete those problems that we might have here. Again, if we just take it on that side, so in this case our head turns to 1 square piece. If it's slightly above, same thing, that thing can look slightly bigger than it is. So the whole attention will be here. If it's slightly above, like 1 or 2 centimeters, like that. So basically, yeah, you see? That will just open that. Every time it's 1 centimeter longer or more, especially asymmetrical like that and elongated here at the front. Again, those diagonal lines and that long line going from here to here will just basically equalize your face. Reversed triangle. I don't know if this exists, but just in case I created that. Narrow at the top and sharp here. I also have trapeze or pear shape. I don't know how you normally call that, but it's slightly different. So here again we have sharp features. Here's sharp. The same thing as with square face. Basically anywhere here will accentuate that and make it look wider than it is. Everything that is longer, 1 inch, let's say, again elongated or blunt, but 1 inch. We don't care about the forehead in this case at all. It will hide that part anyways. And this is trapeze, and same thing here. You may ask me what is the difference between the other one. The other one just had more square jaw here, and this one has round jaw, like more flash here, more puffy here on the sides. They of course have chin. So again, anywhere here, if you do it, that will make this part look bigger, and that will attract more attention on that. As soon as you make it lower again, we resolved our problem. And again, it doesn't matter if it's blunt, if it's elongated, if it's asymmetrical or symmetrical, so that is very universal. Now I think if you are afraid to make a mistake, do this. Cut it middle neck length on the sides, slightly shorter on the back, about 1 or 2 centimeters, and a little bit elongated here to the front. So if you look at me from the front, you can see those pieces are going slightly longer to the front. If you feel like your face is slightly asymmetrical, you can also do asymmetry here. Why is it more universal than, let's say, chin length? And why so many women don't like chin length? Many women, they tried bob, they made it blunt and chin length, and they didn't like it. So after that, they thought that they don't look with bob in general. So they think that the bob doesn't make them look beautiful. It makes them look too simple. They feel lack of chic, lack of sophistication, very stocky appearance. That's what many women say. And this is why. Because if it's chin length, then our neck is exposed completely, and it starts reflecting light from the sides. When it's reflecting light from the sides, it looks bigger than it is and wider than it is. Also, if it's blunt, then here at the ends, it's horizontal. That horizontal line speaks with horizontal line of your shoulders. Your shoulders look more square. Your neck looks slightly wider. And then your head looks like that square. And then your face looks a little bit thinner just because that hair gives them shadows on the sides of your face. And that hair is more likely to be at the front because it's harder to keep them on the back. Like, for example, with long hair. Long hair is like on the back or in the ponytail, your whole face is opened. When it's bob, pretty often is lying on the sides of your face. So it gives some shadows on your face, it shrinks your face a little bit up to here, and then your neck reflects light, so it looks wider. And this is why that gives that awkward and stocky appearance to women sometimes. Also, it doesn't contain any diagonal lines, and those diagonal lines will do wonders. Let's just suppose it's still blunt, but it's below the chin. What's happening? It equalizes facial features. It marries the head to the body through the neck. It kind of starts looking all together, and before, like, the head was something separate that was just put on that neck. Also, what it does, it gives shadows to the neck and to the area, to the jawline area. And that area is normally what we contour even sometimes. We sometimes create that shadow just to look more kind of chiseled, to make our neck look slimmer, and also to make it more uniform with our faces, because if our face has some shadows here, the neck again automatically looks wider. Not because it's wider, again, it's always head to toe. It's always the bone structure overall. It kind of gives that beautiful shadow here on the side of our jawline, on the neck, and also reduces double chin. Also, women have double chin here. It doesn't depend on age, you know. My chin is not tight. Also, it's just the structure basically that I have. So every time I gain a little bit weight, here I have like a lot of stuff going on. I also sometimes like to darken it for the lamps, because the lamps make it bigger. In real life, I never do that. So this is what is happening when the hair is 1 inch below the chin, or even a couple of centimeters below the chin level. So that creates that shadow here as well. This is why it's the most universal haircut from my viewpoint, also for older women. But I'm not selling you the bob. Some of you have long hair, because long hair is just it's a different subject. It's the whole world of beauty. It has its own laws. There are women who look amazing and beautiful with long hair, and actually they just look more themselves. They feel more themselves actually with longer hair rather than with shorter. Now what is the most trendy is that blunt bob, or elongated or asymmetrical elongated bob, slightly layered but not too layered, with that heavy front piece, or both heavy front pieces here, or lob. Also is very popular because women make lob and then they do waves or curls, which looks very cool. And actually women with afro hair, or women with very curly or wavy hair, that's important that they make their haircut when the hair is dry. Basically the rules are totally same. It's just with curly hair you will just have more volume in general, and you probably want to work a little bit better on the shaping your curls itself. Like, where do you create that volume? Because if it's same length, sometimes it can happen that your top is totally flat and then it goes curly and then it widens so much here on the sides. So some women prefer to cut that shorter and make that volume on top more, and then here it will be more like that. For that, actually, you can watch this video, volume on top haircut, how to make this, how I do this. I also talk about geometry of the hair. So again, I'm gonna leave the link down below. Another important thing, if you go to the salon and ask them to give you a bob, but you're scared to cut your hair too short, for example, middle neck or somewhere here, and you want to try to cut it just a little bit shorter, cut them not shorter than this bone. Because let's say they ask to cut it up to here. In approximately 10 days after haircut, hair kind of gets used to its new shape. Because they end now in different places than before, they have to lie down slightly differently. They need to lie on each other in a certain manner. And what's happening is It's lying on the head and goes here. So sometimes you can notice if you cut your hair like that, it starts kind of going inside because it lies on your jaw. The problem here is it grows very fast. It becomes in that point when your neck meets that shoulder. So that's kind of the most annoying period of time because the hair, because of the gravitation, it kind of gravitates towards your neck. You start having lack of volume here. It's lying here and then it starts curling upwards. That's the worst thing here because you kind of end up with that hair. So it kind of repeats your shape here. It's getting used to lying that way. But of course, women who curl their hair all the time, of course for them it's not going to be a problem because their hair can't get used to that new shape. Their ends are always lying in different directions. But if you are the one who has that very straight hair, just be aware about this. And especially that's important for somebody who likes thinning their ends. For somebody who has very thick hair, very thick straight hair, and they do that blunt cut, and if let's say their bones are very delicate, sometimes they feel like that's just too heavy for them. I'm also talking about this in my hair for body types video, who looks better with that thinned ends. But in general, I think everybody can go with blunt cut without thinning ends because I think it's very beautiful only because it looks very healthy. Because when the hair is unhealthy, this is when we see those transparent ends. When the cut is so thick, then it gives that illusion of very healthy hair, even to a totally killed hair. Another thing that was trendy several years ago, but I'm very happy that this trend was very short in time, is too much elongation. So basically everything that is over the top normally doesn't leave that long. They started doing that A-line bob. They started doing that asymmetrical A-line bob. So as every trend, everything sometimes can get pretty exaggerated to a point when it's like absolutely unnatural and absolutely ununderstandable. When you're making that on the back super short and then you're making that super long up to here, you have to think about the movement of your hair. It's not just for the pictures. You're gonna go outside, you're gonna have that wind. The wind will blow in your hair. Like those two front pieces, they're gonna just flow in the wind, and then there in the back you would have super short and pretty blunt cut. So from my viewpoint, it's just not very aesthetically pleasing looking because that shape is exaggerated to a point when it becomes unflattering for any body, basically. But then you can ask me, then what should be the difference? Let's say that's a front piece. That's a back. Here's her hidden jawline. So the most flattering would be going parallel to the jawline or slightly more vertical. Like that. So that bottom line would be parallel to the jawline. Or it can be slightly more vertical. Slightly shorter on the back and slightly more vertical. But only slightly. I would not recommend doing that. That is too much. Even if your hair is shorter, you can notice on many women, they make their bob really parallel to their jawline and it looks amazing. If we talk about that length, absolutely straight, length that cuts your jaw, that looks more like little girl cut. It does have a certain vibe. It does simplifies a little bit. It just has its own mood. And you know, for some women, for some body types, they just want it super flat, super blunt, like that, parallel to the planet Earth. That's it. And that would look amazing also. But for that, you can also watch my body types. It's just on some women, yeah, they feel like they don't look sophisticated enough. Then go ahead, A-line bob, you're good. And also don't forget about that you can style it absolutely differently. But today I mostly was talking about if you just cut and go, you know, as simple as it can be. Because if you're ready to style it day and night, you can't make a mistake here. Even if they cut too much, don't be upset about it because the way you style it, it can change everything. You can style it with hot tools and stuff. You can color them a little bit more and then you will turn it into one of your best accessories that you ever had. I think bob is such a haircut that you can really go lack of volume and you don't feel that it drags you down because already it's so light here and nothing is here. That place of your neck is very beautiful. It is exposed and it's not dragging the features of the face down. It's true for some body types, especially for gamins. Gamins normally look pretty tired with long hair, they need something lighter. Alright, that's it. I hope that was interesting. We will continue talking about the bob. And if my channel helps you, if you want to support me, you can click that join button. I will be very happy if you do. I will soon have some exclusive videos for you guys. I also have early access to some of my videos. And same thing goes for Patreon. I upload some exclusive videos there sometimes and I answer your questions there, so please welcome. You can subscribe on my Instagram for just random stuff from my music and from my makeup life. You can also subscribe on my Pinterest where I have 13 boards as an inspiration for each body type. It might help you to get a better idea about the body types in general. If you love some retro music, some classic rock, you're welcome to subscribe on my music channel as well. I will see you soon. Bye bye.